little bit difficult to see, but this is my very first sort of thing with the Caprica Six, where there's just a sketch. This is sort of to scale, roughly speaking. So my hand may need to be a little bigger, but that's sort of roughly to what I'm imagining the scale will be. And I'm doing this so that I can get a good idea of how big to draw on the paper. Here, and on other sheets of paper, usually how big each of these elements should be. So that's what that is about. Her head might need to be a little bigger, but yeah. Anyway, so her head needs to be a little bigger, but that's what it is. Okay, this is sort of an exploded view of her face. This is sort of it. And I'm using this as a reference, using this sort of what is intended as roughly a to-scale drawing. And then this, so you can see that, I don't know if you can tell, but these are the cheeks here, and then the cheeks are there, sort of goes by, so that's as if it's to the sort of like exploded. Because, I don't know if you can see in this drawing here, this is the front-on view, and this is the side. So it's sort of a combination of the two, because it's the front and then it extends further. So that's how I'm doing the paper thing, which may not work in any capacity. It might end up sucking horribly, but this is my first attempt anyway. Okay, now this may not look like much, but it is actually the segments of her face, or her head, excluding the very back of her head, sort of the top of her spine, base of her skull, that area, and then under the chin, which I don't have, but I know how it's going to be. I just haven't cut that yet. Because I'm going to see how this looks taped together. So this might look like crap, might look awesome. We'll doubtless have to make numerous rounds of revisions, but that's part of the process. Yeah, I'm going to tape it. Okay, so this is the assembled version of the top of the head and the facial features. As you can see, what I meant before, there's no nose, because that doesn't really matter for this phase of things. She doesn't have a chin, so she's got to have a much stronger chin. And the back here, I haven't cut. Which I'm going to do next after getting back from these other things. Now, I know right away that I'm going to be making a change to the head here because it's a little flat. But if I take these two pieces, which are the same, and I basically, if you can tell, but it's a straight cut. But if I bow it, so if I make it sort of, if I make it, you know, sort of curve out to like this piece curves out to here, say, like in sort of a nice arch, then that'll make the head. Oh gosh. That'll make the head sort of go up more like that, which would be cool. Now, aside from that, I think I want the top of her head to be bigger, so I'm going to redo that for the second iteration. But I still want to finish the first because I want to see how her jaw looks. Like this looks like it'll hopefully be a pretty strong jawline, but it's hard to tell until this is here. Her nose isn't really important for the purposes of this. The eyes are not perfectly sized, but that also doesn't matter. I need it to be like I can get more of a. See, it's kind of straight down there. Like her eye should be a little sort of indented because look at the sketch here. The sketch right here. It's sort of like the eyes kind of go in a bit because that's kind of what happens. You know, your brow kind of go down a bit. But I can shape that a bit when we get to the foam stage. I can sort of cut this slightly angularly and then make this whole top piece kind of fold in by just the way I'm cutting it. But for this particular phase, it doesn't really matter. So yeah. So the next one will be of the initial version of this cut. And then after that will be the second revised version, probably with a nose. I mean, I'll put a nose on it just to see how it looks. But this is the beginning of Trisha Helfer. Or Caprica Six. Doesn't yet really look like anything. Does not look like her, I mean. But it's also not holding its shape well. That's the problem with these paper ones. It doesn't quite hold. I mean, it doesn't hold the shape the same way the foam does, obviously, because different material. But yeah, I think it's on the right track. Should be cool. Hey everybody, it is much later than it was before. Same day though. It's 11:40 at night. I was supposed to wait for a while, but what I just did, because I got back, is I finished, I put some whiskers on Poodles. Made him a little more angry, but that's not why I'm talking, because we're in the middle of the Caprica Six thing. So I've got the first paper prototype done, and it is this right here. Now, of course, this does not look very feminine, but I think it'll work. There are several things that I'm going to fix on it for a subsequent version, which I'm going to do in the morning. And I'll just give you a quick list just so you can see what I'm going for. The nose is just going to be like probably one piece of foam, so that's going to be changed. But it's seated weird. The eye holes will probably be much smaller. because, as I think I mentioned before, these eyes will go sort of in like that, and much like Jason here, you see I have a ping pong ball, but the ping pong ball is going to be largely obscured by the foam. So what that means is that even if this were sort of a perfect circle here, I'd have a bunch of empty space, so I've got to reduce that. So I'll just have to do the math on that to see how small the eye will be. And I'll do that when I copy it to, when I put it into Illustrator and make it a big old file. The mouth I will probably make a little bigger. I'm not entirely sure. The chin here I need to jet out more because I basically have a piece of paper that I sort of fold over, which I'll show you what this looks like. This is what the chin fabric, or the piece, oh there it is, sorry, what it looks like, where basically these two pieces come together and that comes together. Sorry, I keep doing that there. So it becomes kind of like a kind of like that kind of thing if that were front on. And then her chin is sort of like, and there's her mouth, like there. See her mouth? And then her nose. So what I need to do is this bit, which is this bit. Here, let me, oh, it doesn't work. Let me do this. Yeah, there you go. So this bit folds up and becomes this bit right here, and this bit needs to sort of go like this, become a little bigger, so that it'll stick out a little more, and then give her more of a chin, because in profile, she doesn't have much of a chin. Visually there it looks okay, but the side it doesn't. So I've got to extend that. I've got to adjust these eyes, and I'll show you what I mean, or the eyes. The top of the head, which I mentioned earlier, but basically I have it, this is sort of how I have the two pieces that equal here. So 1, 2, and it goes 1, 2. What I need to actually have it do is I need to do 2 of them like this. So that's supposed to be 2 sort of loaded rectangles, and they'll go together, and then they'll join this piece here, and then it'll make a nice little bulb side. I think that actually the size of it is good. I think the scale of it is good because I put my hand in here, and while I might not be the person who eventually actually uses it, I will probably have the biggest hands because I have large hands, and my hand fits nicely, so that'll kind of work. And that's roughly to the original scale I was thinking. But so that's the first paper doll prototype, or paper prototype of Caprica 6. So the next thing you see, which will be from a subsequent day, will be the second version of that. And then after I do the second version, see, I did it again with the hair. I do the second version of the paper, and then hopefully we'll be ready to do the foam. But if not, I'll need to do a third or fourth or whatever paper, and then I'll go on to the foam. And ideally, what will happen, because I've gone through this phase, which is nice quick, because this only took a very small amount of time to do. It's certainly the assembly, the test assembly of it, to see exactly how it looked. I should be able to just assemble the foam, and the only problem there, the real potential problem, is that due to the difference of thickness, because you know this is a piece of paper, so it's very, very thin, and a piece of foam, less thin. Is that the smaller pieces might not really work. In Bono's case, for example, I'll show you. Here's Bono, right there. It's a photo of Bono. He's over in the back, but this is him. His chin, I had a bunch of pieces. I had sort of the front of his chin. I had a very angular, and I imagine, because in the paper I actually needed to have sort of a front part of the chin, like right here, like as if the sort of this just segment where my two fingers are made sense in the paper to have a chunk there, but in the foam it actually connected because it was thick enough. So there may be some instance of that happening here, but yeah. So this will be Caprica 6, Tricia Helfer, and trust me, this will look a lot more feminine. Right now it looks kind of like a skeleton or something, but it will eventually look like Tricia Helfer, Caprica 6. Whichever. So, I don't know. See, oh, I just knocked some stuff over. See? Like, you can totally tell the resemblance, right? It'll look closer soon.
I'm in the dark and you're a shooting star.